Hi, everyone. I'm Jana Good, dual language specialist.
Hi, I'm Jessica Oberg. I'm an ELD instructional coach.
Hi, I'm Nicole Patrick, ELD instructional coach. For this video, we are going to do a Think Aloud modeling a second grade team, planning how to integrate language into our literacy plans to be intentional in meeting the linguistic needs of our students.
And we'll be looking for multiple opportunities for students to participate and respond to each other, knowing that oral language development transfers to reading and writing.
And while we'll be modeling with a second grade plan from FNP, these strategies could be applied to any grade level or content area or curriculum, including for DLI teachers into units of study.
Okay, well, hey everybody, I'm so glad to plan our next lesson together.
Me too.
Yeah, I noticed that this week we're focusing on problem and solution, and there's a lot of great resources. Let's take a look at Monday's lesson.
Cool.
And Jess, I noticed that you added some things into Monday's lesson. Can you tell us a little bit about what you added to provide more opportunities for students to talk during the synchronous instruction, and what supports you added in for students?
Sure. If you go to slide 2, I can talk a little bit about that. I put stuff in the notes. One thing Nicole and I were thinking was that we'd pose the problem to the whole class and give private think time, which is essential, especially for ELs and a lot of kids. But then we would call on a pair of students to unmute and have a discussion around how they would solve the problem. And if kids are struggling getting there, restate the problem to guide them. And we repeat this process through slide 2, 3, and 4. So presenting a different problem each time and calling on a different pair to discuss how they would solve it, to ground them in problem solution.
And the visuals that are already in the slide deck made it super easy. And then they provided this wordless video, which is great because it allows students to do the comprehension work without language getting in the way. One thing we added is that we would set up the video. We would say the names of the characters so students can have that language for when we talk about it, and give the purpose. It's in the slide. As you're watching, think of the problem solution. We would just say, hey, it's not movie time. Like, hey, look for the problem solution.
That's great. It's kind of like when you're going to do a read aloud and setting them up for what they're going to be thinking about during the story.
Exactly.
And then one thing that we thought about, we put some sentence starters at the bottom for problem and solution, and having a practice around that. So doing a choral response where the teacher would say the sentence starter and then the students would repeat it with a few that are unmuted. So having that repeated practice with the language so that it becomes theirs.
And we actually practice the sentence frames, Jana. You'd be proud of us. And so that's why the solution has a couple more options. Like my favorite one was, it was fixed by. So that was helpful to try it out ourselves.
Yeah, that's great.
And then since there are stories, they get to go back to connect to their prior knowledge and stories that they're familiar with, and using the same structure for the next several stories, and possibly pulling up some images from the past stories to remind them, or a picture of the problem from that story to prompt their thinking.
And we put some animations for the sentence starters, and so that they can be we introduce them, but then they go away. And then so for the following slides, they're not even there, because I think our students are going to have it. They're going to hear it enough times. They're going to practice it enough times that they're not going to need it.
And then it also allows for a little informal assessment around their language without the scaffold.
To see what we need to plan for next.
Wonderful. And then how would you end the lesson?
Students have an opportunity to do a read to self. So modeling what that would look like, or depending what kind of access to materials they have, but even sketching the problem solution on the sticky notes, and encouraging them to integrate the sentence starters and frames from the lesson.
Wow, I'm so impressed with the strategies that you're going to be using to get lots of different students talking throughout the lesson, and that you considered what kind of language they might need to produce and what scaffolds you could provide them to help them practice. These are all things that you could be doing throughout the week in all of your lessons that are easy to just add on to the amazing lessons that the district is putting out each week.
Yeah. Thanks, Jana.
Thanks for walking through that with us.
Thank you.